Hello beautiful people, it is time for another dance video intervention that I have created for you that is keeping on the theme of ideokenisis, and so it's kind of combining this authentic movement that we like to use in dance therapy, a way of expressing and connecting to a deeper realm of ourselves and matching that to other forms of the arts. But I take it into another area which I'm passionate about, which I get from the Way Apple workshops that I do, and that's that interconnectedness to Mother Nature and really honing in on that earth, mind, body, spirit wellness, that holistic well-being. And so I link this also to how we kind of integrate or teach dance to children or teach the arts to children in, keeping aligned with the need to have them connected to Mother Nature as much as possible throughout all of their teachings and all of their world, in order for their own sort of holistic development as well, and that sense of self and the strength of sense of self that children get in their identity when they do feel this connection to a part of nature that they love or feel passionate about, that makes them feel good, that makes them feel grounded, whatever, and how we really ingrain that into their system in fun, creative, and educational ways. So today I am using ideokenisis, and I'm keeping the theme of stars because, as I told you before, I've dreamt that I landed here from a star. My parents didn't make it, but I did, and I was looked after by the people who was here on Earth. It's just the way it is. I don't mean to brag, but I'm from a star. That's why I called my daughter Ostara, to move towards the rising sun. Nothing's a coincidence, people. Nothing's a coincidence. But seriously, that was serious. But on another serious note, I've always felt deeply connected to the rest of the universe that is up there, and reading more and more of the book that I'm reading about First Nations people from around the world, but mostly here in Australia, and this beautiful education I'm getting about how, the landscape here on Earth is a mirror reflection to what's happening in the stars, and this helps us navigate in so many different areas of our life, but really holistically our well-being, and how we connect to so many different parts of ourselves, and what this does for this sense of belonging and this sense of total community. And I was actually inspired to do this dance today because I've been dreaming about stars a lot as well. It's just all manifesting throughout my veins. I close my eyes at night and I just see these beautiful, almost galaxies being born. We talk about the Big Bang Theory, and I just get these beautiful, star births in my visions and dreams. And I get this beautiful, what's the way to put it? I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of what the sky actually looks like. You know how we just see speckles of stars here and there, but really, if you had a proper telescope, there's almost no blackness. Like, the further you go out into space, it's basically full. Like, there's no dark spots just about. And so, yeah, I get this beautiful, beautiful kaleidoscope of different things popping into my head. But with that, what I found is the more that I've connected to this space within me, because we do share DNA with stardust, along with trees, certain insects, certain animals, other forms of plants. We do share DNA of stardust. So it's almost like connecting to this part of ourselves, this cellular memory. Because when I've done this, I've also had these really sort of cool epiphanies about some of the work that I do as a dance therapist. Like the other night when I had this, little star thing floating in my head, all of a sudden this thought popped into my head for work the next day of, you need to start with drumming, because drumming is what resets the nervous system. So that needs to be at the start of your session tomorrow. And I woke up going, that makes so much sense. It's so simple. You think I would know that? So I did it. And it was very effective. So I think, that groundedness into our presence through being connected to different aspects of Mother Nature, and then what that feeds us when we are in this really calm space, but also really connected, therefore energetic space. There's these polarities that live just like the sky and the earth. And we, you know, I talked about this in belly dancing, how we see ourselves as the anchor between, you know, in Egyptian belly dance and in Middle Eastern cultures, a similar belief system. You know, the anchor that we are. When we dance, we sort of draw these energies together. So, look, oh God, my cat is feeding herself and just walked into the laundry and the door creaks, giving me a freaking heart attack. Anyway, it would be a friendly spirit, so I'm not really that scared. But if it was a spirit, it's just my cat. My cat could be a spirit. Anyway, I diverse. No, wait. You know that thing where you go down? It's just moved right along. So it's this beautiful way of connecting to a part of ourselves. So, ideokenisis, where either the person can write something themselves, and they move it. They write something themselves and somebody else moves it, so they see it in form. And so it just engrains this connection, this relationship, this aspect of ourselves even more deeply. And by giving it form, by giving it expression, you do almost like, you know, dance therapy. We talk about carving pathways and how that deepens our... So we've created this inner attitude that we're setting up as a neuro pathway. So when we bring that out into the world, naturally it deepens it even more. So it affects who and what we are holistically, and then how we move out into the world. So it gives us that meaning and purpose. It gives us this attitude about ourselves. Self-confidence is what we're aiming for. Identity, strengthen our decisions, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, you know, when I think about how we move in the world, so like I just said, you know, I connection to the stars and then correlating that with how I move in the world, with how I am with other people and what interventions I might utilize and for what reasons. It just deepens our whole existence. Now, you know, we're going to learn about things like the stars. And so using my example, we're going to, you know, learn at school, wherever we may go, even if you're at university, for Christ's sake, you know, what makes up a star. You know, the gases, the chemicals, the this, the that. And that's the scientific realm, and that's valid, and that's cool, and let's do that. That's very interesting. And so what we want to do, and what more and more children, I think, are calling out for, and adults, is, well, what else is there, though? So they're not just a ball of gas, like they said in The Lion King. It's not just a ball of gas. You know, for example, once again, from this book, okay, so when this ball of gas is a certain colour, then that tells us whether rain is near or not. So then that tells us, how do we harvest? So then that tells us about what our sleep and awake time might be and how we move about the world. That also might inform us about certain rituals and ceremonies that we might want to hold that celebrates and matches that time of year. That informs our sense of well-being. And what I love about this, and it's okay if you come from a culture where stories may not have been remembered at the moment, right? Because they still are. They're just reawakening. You know, when I read some of the stories that are connected to these star constellations, you know, what a certain, you know, for example, the Southern Cross, and what that is in certain cultures here, and well, here, yeah, but there are certain constellations that you see in other parts of the world. That one, no, you can only see here. So when you hear these stories, and I won't say them because they'll be different for different people, and same as the ones that can be seen in other parts of the world, where they're different, some similarities, but they also form some sort of education about morals or ethics or ways of living with others, ways of connecting with others that deepens our existence too. So it's a poetic way of also modeling for children, you know, why we live the way that we do in a society, how we keep this harmonious way of life, what the laws are. And so there's also this deeper connection to, you know, this star then becomes almost part of your family. It becomes part of your community. It plays a vital role in informing you about how we do move throughout the world. So there's all these various ways of why and how we move, whether it's got to do with agriculture, whether it's got to do with fishing, whether it's got to do with where you're going to live for that period of time in terms of rain season and things like that. And then in how we live with each other, you know, how we maintain this way of life that we do love so much, and how we respect each other and how we love one another. You know, some of the stories are about, you know, why you shouldn't be jealous and why you shouldn't be greedy and why you shouldn't be inconsiderate, what the importance for attachment, so family. So there's all these other really beautiful connections. So when we get children in this space, you know, one of the most beautiful ways to educate is not necessarily just to try and force feed it if it's not already there. If there's a culture where it's there, of course, you learn from your elders. Yay. If it's not, you know, once children are out there, like other parts of education, you give them the concept and they explore it themselves and they sit in it and they smell it and they taste it. And like what I've done with this book and what it's done for me now, this cellular memory of how to make music, how to make dance. You know, it's deep in this relationship. And so when children are given this time and space to be in that time and space, they will have, just like I did, their own thoughts come up, their own news stories. They are the future ancestors. They need time and space to become that. What feeds their movement? When they look at this particular constellation, what do they see? How do they feel about it? What does it tell them? Okay, can you put that in writing? Make it rhyme or not, don't really give a damn. It can be a rap, it can be a song, it can be a poem, it can just be a story. And then you can go one step further. Sorry guys, I'm really trying really hard not to get sick. Everybody is sick. In a good way. It's all a big purge. And so that deepens the relationship too. So even if that person doesn't move it, even if somebody else does, and it can be choreographed or not, it can just be authentic in the moment, that will serve the same purpose. An intervention I've done, actually this was with adults, was a friend and I, another dance therapist, we're at a centre. We actually got a song, we broke down the song into about 4 lines and we distributed those 4 lines, and then they made up movements for those particular lines that they were given, and then in the end we put it all together. So they moved authentically to those sets of lines and it became a group dance. So there's even that way of doing it too, moving through different people's stories. There's something about having our material seen, heard and valued, because that's attachment that deepens our connection to everything as well. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to blow my nose and I'm going to dance. I have stumbled upon the most magnificent piece of music. I'm so excited about this. It is a song that is being... Where's Spotify? It's the Coldplay song Yellow. I love Coldplay. I went to their concert the first time they toured here, showing my age. So I think this song is really suitable to what I'm going to read to you from a poem that I wrote for my Connection to Stars. And it's the Triple J like a version live by King Stingray. Now, if you don't know who they are, you really need to. And so I want to give a massive shout out to King Stingray for doing this song. So this is, this is exactly it. 2 worlds have met, this beautiful First Nations to Australia band group who plays this song and sings this song in their own cultural manner, and it's just perfection, and it just brings it to another life and level, and it just makes it all the more connected to what this song is actually about. So it's very exciting. But this is what I wrote, but I'm going to move for you to that song. Each night as I'm succumbing into the darkness of sleep, I see her burst open across vast land and sea. I see her light explode, cutting through midnight shadow. Into my eyes she engrains her life. Her rays grab my soul gently and she paints me in her dreams. She swallows up my sorrows to bring clarity from behind dark veils. She whispers pathways cut out for me in time. She wants me to dance her wisdom into life. Stars in my vision, celestial ancestors, navigating my life on this soil as it was written and sung amongst their threads. A sky so full there's plenty for all. each glow a soul ready to begin its fall. Our earth is her mirror, no one is left out, no one is alone or in drought. When we see what is waiting behind closed eyes, as it is above, so it is below. Be the anchor between two landscapes and allow the greatest love of all to grow. She's an ocean of light, a forest of dreams that begins to take form as we appreciate this stream. Between gateways of life, drink her force to consume. Be burned in her fire, let wind carry your ashes. Let it nourish every fibre of beings and be the light where it needs. Behind soft closed eyes, her world explodes and begins. She's awakening her world, let her gentle star-filled light to fiercely come in. Speckles of colours burning bright with life, explosions that do not harm. Her light is soft, like arms of a mother opening wide to express what words can't conduct. It's a dance of love between us. Expand, be what fulfilled in what already exists. Capture, be captured by rays and hues of consciousness. See how vast we are, a part of this world. See how perfect we already are. Once I started writing, I couldn't stop. I got a little bit excited the more I thought about the stars I see when I close my eyes and how it makes me feel. How it makes me feel on this earth to feel so attached, to feel so gifted. And this is what we want to give to children, to remind them of their sacredness. It reminds you that you're sacred. Once you start connecting to a particular place and that reciprocation begins, that relationship, that remembrance in your body that you share the same DNA, is so healing, and it is worth so much when it comes to preventative measures. I've talked for a long time. It's so necessary for children. I just can't say that enough. But let me move for you, my loves. It's going to be authentic movement. I kind of know how I want to move. I've danced it a few times.
Battery 5. Connected to iPhone.
Do you like my speaker's voice? I think she sounds very lovely. I think in real life, her and I would go out for coffee. All right. I'm giving myself plenty of room. Please do excuse my lighting. It's a smashed iPad. I still need to fix the screen. Love you guys. Here we go. this. You know, so those dance styles are a mixture of different things that I know of from different cultures, some of my own, some just sort of more modern, contemporary. That was unrehearsed, but you hear the music and you follow an instinct, similar to what we do when we connect to our landscape, when we connect to something greater than ourselves, and we trust. And the most important gift that we can give children in this world is that they trust themselves. They're not just led by things here, their body. They trust that their body knows, they trust their own wisdom to carve their pathway for the world that they know is in need. Alright, beautifuls, once again, if you'd like any more knowledge about what exactly I do, please feel free to reach out. Mwah.